Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe EC Talk und bei mir ist heute 92 Resources. Warum ist 92 Resources da? Ich habe auch Anfragen bekommen zum Unternehmen, weil es schon sehr lange kein Interview mehr gegeben hat. Und Dusan ist, dem ich schon ja seit, how long we are know us? 10 years?
We know each other?
More
15?
15, maybe 15.
15 years ago we know each
So,
other. Oh, yes.
really long.
From the old days, Megastar days.
Yeah, Megastar days. Oh, that was Megastar.
Megastar. About 2003, 2004.
Yeah, that's possible.
So about 14, 15 years.
But we talk now for 92 resources. And the last interview we do is 1.5 years ago. Yep. So it's really a long time.
Yep.
So what's happened since the last 1.5 years?
Well, company has been very active. We have since that time acquired several other properties, also mostly lithium. That's the focus, is the lithium. Those 3 properties we acquired since the last time we spoke are in Quebec.
Great area.
Which is, as you know, most friendly mining jurisdiction in my mind, and because I've got some experience in Quebec with Megastar many years ago. It's one of the best mining jurisdictions in the world. You know, very friendly, very supportive, and not only regulatory-wise, but also financially. Quebec government is very supportive.
Is it still that you get money back from every dollar what you spend on exploration?
Not every dollar, but there's a formula that you get so-called mining tax credits, and those credits are typically calculated. So the bottom line is that company can receive a rebate or money back from the government between 30 and 40%. So let's say you spend $1 million on exploration in Quebec.
You get
You get a check between $300,000-$400,000.
That's great.
You can put it back into your account.
Yeah, that's great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So, but it's a win-win situation, because the way I see it is, and I'm sure that's how politicians see it, it's great for the economic development of the province, creates jobs, creates opportunities, and brings taxes to them as well.
Sure.
The jobs. So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
And for the company, it's very encouraging.
Yeah, for sure.
Another important aspect of doing business in Quebec is the permitting process is relatively easy and simple compared to some other jurisdictions.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as you know, Joe, I don't have to tell you that in this business, you want to be in those very least geopolitically
for sure. That's the major
tough
point.
areas. So, and we are quite excited about having the opportunity to do business in Quebec and Canada.
Yeah, and we saw this in the last years that when you go really to areas where you not normally should go,
right.
It's really tough to do something.
It's tough.
And then you have not
it's
the
risky.
Yeah, it's risky.
risky.
And you have not the infrastructure there.
That's right. That's right.
So.
And that's another thing. Glad you mentioned that. There's probably one of the best infrastructures and expertise. Anything you need
Is there.
for mining exploration, whether it's geophysicists, geochemists, geologists, contractors, drilling contractors, airborne survey contractors, it's all
there.
local.
Coming back to the project. So main focus is now lithium. We know
It has been lithium for a long time, although I should maybe rephrase that. We initially, when we started with 92 Resources 4 or 5 years ago, our main project, the only project at the time, was what we call the ZimFrac project, silica sand project. Then we quickly acquired a Northwest Territories lithium project called Hidden Lake property, which we focused on quite extensively over the last couple of years. To the tune of, we spent 2 summer exploration campaigns on Hidden Lake property. At the same time, in parallel, we spent also some time and money on exploration of ZimFrac project, silica sand projects, and we established that Fracking project is actually very valuable because of the quality of the silica sand.
But is this the silica sand what you use also by fracking?
Exactly, and that's the point. That sand has a potential to be both. Has a potential to be for industrial use as silica. In fact, we had a news release. That's why I have it with me here. A couple of days ago, and that news release clearly showed. By the way, we are now updating our 43-101 report for the property. That samples up to 99.89%.
Wow.
Silica dioxide.
Yeah.
Silicon dioxide, which is extremely high purity.
Absolutely.
What is also exciting about it is the purity of the sand. There's also a statement here we made that there was no impurities. You know, that is very important, and the size of it. So what excited us about that project, although it's funny, you think you have a very attractive project, but because investing public doesn't associate 92 resources with silica sand,
Yeah, that's right.
they associate 92 resources with exploration for lithium.
That's right.
So the challenge for the management and the board right now is how do we unlock the value of this asset?
Yeah.
You know, to put it bluntly, it's not really adding that much value to the share price and to the bottom line. Although it's a fantastic project on its own.
In the beginning, when a few years ago, it was a great idea.
Yes.
Especially that was we have with all
Oil
this
and gas.
oil and gas.
Then it
boom,
collapsed.
and then
Then collapsed. So it made
it's
sense
back.
to,
It's
but
back.
it's back. Exactly, it's back. Not only that, there is a big interest. What happened since last time we talked? I don't know if you remember, but there is a producing silica mine adjacent to us, which was owned by an Australian company called Heemskerk Resources.
Okay.
That year ago, that mine was bought out by a hedge fund for $40 million.
Okay.
Bought out. So, obviously that made big news in Asia and down south. And there is now interest. There are people, I don't want to name any names, foreign jurisdictions, people from that part of the world, who are approaching us and talking to us about the silica project. Why? We are just kind of curious. Well, what makes it interesting for you people? Well, they want to get involved in manufacturing of solar panels.
Okay.
It's a very big business.
Okay. Yeah.
Solar
And
panels.
you need
And
silica.
they are they're scouting around the globe to source the best source of their raw material.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
they came across, and we were scratching our heads. Well, how did you find out about us? Well, my sense is, although I don't have a proof, my sense is when the Australian company was bought out, that made the news. That was a big news, probably in that part of the world. So people read, especially in that kind of business, and they see, who else is there? Well, there's this little 92 resources that's next door to it. Let's find out something about them. So there is interest. People are requesting information. People are asking they want to do due diligence because they want to get into manufacturing of solar panels.
So the interesting part is
So that's quite interesting to us.
Lithium is really hot at the moment, and everybody looks for lithium and so on and so blah blah. But this is more near term that you can unlock value.
Exactly.
So that means.
How do we do it? Is a strategic challenge. How do we strategically position it to unlock the value in the best possible way to enhance the shareholder value? So there's several schools of thoughts. One immediate thought that comes to mind is, why don't you spin it out?
Yeah, that's what's
Spin it out.
Spin it out.
Spin it out and make it standalone company. That's one option.
Yeah.
Yes, it's an option. It's a possibility. Not a cheap possibility.
Yeah, no.
The legal cost is pretty exorbitant, accounting cost. But I've done it with Megastar many years ago, so I have some experience in that. I know it's doable.
Yeah, but is it possible so that maybe when, in the end, when really this kind of groups coming in, they are maybe looking to take over this, then it makes...
Maybe we should sell it to them. Just simply sell it to them for large cash
and then
payment up front,
yeah.
and retain some kind of production royalty.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Gross of writing royalty.
That's option 2.
So that's another option. Or third, which is probably the least attractive, is to joint venture it with somebody.
Yeah,
have somebody to spend more money on it, put it into production, and...
But when you make a joint venture, it should be a joint venture that it's going to production.
I think it's much more appealing to someone who needs that material. And if it's a foreign jurisdiction company, if it's a company from Asia somewhere or something, they probably would like to have a Canadian operating team.
Okay.
I'm thinking, I don't know for sure. Or will they bring their own people to operate? Well, that's not our issue anymore.
No.
That's not our. My issue, our management issue should be how do we maximize the value?
So, but the interesting part is that now this frac sand, what we not have on the radar screen the last 2 years, it's now maybe the hottest topics in 92 resources.
It should be. It really is. And it's puzzling to me, to be honest with you. This news release came out on March 5th, a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And hardly moved the needle on a scale. Hardly. On a stock. Hardly. It was actually, funny enough, there was quite a bit of trading in Germany after the news release. About 500,000 shares traded in Germany. And good trading in Canada as well. But as you pointed out, this is a hot news.
Yeah, absolutely.
This should really be much more attractive to investment community.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, it's not in on a radar screen of too many people in connection or in relationship to 92 resources. So how do we unlock it? That's our next challenge from a strategic point of view.
Dusan, I think it was a great update. We don't talk too much at Lithium, so we can do it the next time. And why, for sure, we should do it.
I just give you one quick, if I may, on lithium. The hidden lake, which a lot of people are wondering why we did what we did a month ago, 2 months ago. We found a joint venture partner.
Okay.
We have optioned that project to another company, which Fire Resources, which has a strong financial capability and most importantly technical capabilities, strong technical team. So we are very optimistic that Fire Resources team will unlock the value and the potential of Hidden Lake project. So by doing that, we, 92 Resources and our shareholders, still have a very large stake in the project by having now shares of their company and having more shares coming to us. We already received $50,000 cash. We already received 555,000 shares of their company. They have to now spend money to earn first 60%. And then that'll give the opportunity after that to earn additional 30%. By spending under $2 million on the property, give us another $1.5 million in terms of shares. So for us, for our shareholders, there is a value. And keep our fingers crossed that they actually drill it quickly and develop it, because then we'll have a 10% carried interest.
Yeah, perfect.
And what's wrong with that?
No,
At the same time, it gives us and frees us to deploy our resources to explore the other projects, particularly one in Quebec.
Keep the illusion down.
Exactly.
And this is a very
So
important.
I think that's pretty well, in a nutshell, the best update I can give you.
That's the two major points. First, the joint venture.
Yep.
With the lithium project, and the second is the frac sand that never have on the nobody has on the radar.
And the third, that we are, as we speak, we are permitting actually for drilling in Quebec uncovered property for lithium, which had fantastic values last year in the summer program. We had some values of 3.5% lithium, and one sample grab sample was 7.3%.
Wow.
So we're going to drill that. We already are in process of permitting as we speak. And another project called Pontax, which is in the Eastman area, and not too far from on the same belt where Stria Resources is, Critical Elements is, Galaxy is, and all. So we do have pegmatites showings. We are going to fly airborne survey on it. We already engaged the company from Quebec. So that's going to happen very shortly, within the next month or so. We're going to be flying that property. So we are very active. But people think, oh yeah, you just optioned the hidden lake, now what? Well, now what? Now the excitement really starts.
Okay.
Because we can work on 2 or 3 other fronts. And we are well funded. That's the key too. We have more than $1 million in the bank.
Yeah, absolutely. That's key.
That's very key.
Thank you for the update. It was a
Pleasure.
very good one. Ja, das war jetzt ein Update an 92 Resources und ich glaube, der wichtigste Block ist, also der wichtigste Punkt ist, dass eigentlich das Fracking, wo sie eigentlich damit gestartet haben vor 5-6 Jahren, das keiner mehr auf dem Radar gehabt haben, dass das momentan total in den Fokus auch wieder kommt, weil nämlich viele an diesem hochgradigen, also weil es ja extrem reiner Fracking ist, also Silikonoxid ist eigentlich, das für die Leute einfach interessant ist. Die Frage ist jetzt nur, wie kann die Company das monetarisieren für die Aktionäre, sodass es einen besten Aktionärswert hat. Da sind mehrere Options, man kann es outspinnen, man kann es verkaufen, man kann es ein Joint Venture machen. Das sind zum Beispiel 3 Optionen, die wir auch kurz besprochen haben. Aber das hat momentan, glaube ich, den größten Wert fürs Unternehmen, wo sie kurzfristig einen Wert steigern können. Das Zweite, was mir wichtig darüber gesprochen ist, wie wir über die Lithium-Projekte gesprochen haben, sie haben im Jänner ein Joint Venture bekannt gegeben zu einem Lithium-Projekt, was sie haben, und dadurch kriegen sie Aktien von Far Resources. Die Aktien, die müssen das jetzt weiterentwickeln, das heißt, die müssen das Geld ausgeben, und wenn alles gut läuft und die das schnell machen und in Produktion bringen, bleiben noch immer 10% Carry Interest beim Unternehmen. Also sie kriegen dort dann dementsprechend von der Produktion 10%, ohne dass sie irgendwas tun müssen. Und auf dem Weg dorthin kriegen sie allerdings noch viel Geld und Aktien von dem Unternehmen. Was wiederum hilft, natürlich die Dilution runterzubringen, denn Dilution ist das, was wir nicht wollen. Die Verwässerung des Aktien ist einfach das, was schlecht ist. Das wollen wir einfach nicht. Weil das bringt immer diese Kursdrückereien, die dann wieder beim Private Placement das zeichnen wollen. Also, was tun Sie jetzt mit Ihrem Geld, was Sie haben? Sie wollen jetzt die anderen Projekte explorieren und sich konzentrieren Sie jetzt natürlich auf das, und natürlich das Fracking ist im Fokus, und echt spannendes Update. Hat sich wahnsinnig viel getan in den letzten 1,5 Jahren, und ich bin gespannt. Ich schaue, dass ich in 6 Monaten wieder ein Interview mache. Was hat sich dann getan? Weil dann müssen wir schon wissen, müssen wir auf jeden Fall mehr, was sich beim Fracking tut. So, das war's. PDEC 2018, 92 Ressourcen. Dusan Berka.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Dankeschön.